Coming up in this episode of PWD Allies podcast.
She made me 16 sandwiches. 16 sandwiches.
But that's love for you, Brent, right there.
I know.
PWD Allies, the best disability podcast in Canada. Starring your hosts, Brent Frayne. And as always, his producer and editor, Neil Matheson.
Transportation is so important to get people from point A to point B and connecting with their communities and family and friends and whatever the wheels may take you. So today I'm going to be talking about transportation, interprovincial transportation this time, everyone. I usually talk about transportation within British Columbia and especially on Vancouver Island. But today is a little bit different. And that is because I'm going to talk about interprovincial transportation. Our transportation network, as we know, back in 2018, Greyhound Canada had run across our country, our beautiful country in Canada. And, with connections into the U.S., you'd go from Vancouver over down to Seattle, and then from Toronto, Ontario, down to New York State, and there's some other areas within Canada that there's other connections that Greyhound would provide. They still provide service. Greyhound still provides service from Vancouver down to Seattle, but that's Greyhound USA, right? But Greyhound Canada pulled the plug. They just could not make a go of it. They asked for help from federal government. They pleaded that, can you please help us so we can stay in business? And they were willing to redo their model. Like their model was expensive, right? I think most people could agree that, Greyhound wasn't cheap. I took Greyhound many times throughout my life, and it was one of my favorite modes of transportation because there was no transit at the time. Where I was living, in that there wasn't very good transit because it was very limited service that I had. Over time, that became greater, but I still enjoyed taking the Greyhound because Greyhound would take me on a longer journey than a local transit would. So I had a choice then over time, and I decided, well, I'm going to go on a long journey, and I did. I went all the way from Vancouver all the way to through BC up to the Okanagan, through the Kootenays, all the way up to Calgary, Alberta. A transfer point layover time, and when I got there, I had transferred onto another Greyhound. I had like 3.5 hour layover time in Calgary, which was nice. So I got to explore around a little bit into the downtown area of Calgary. Of course, I was many years ago, but that was my last memorable experience that I had done on the a long journey voyage across the country. So I had taken it to Calgary. I had bagged lunches with me. I had a suitcase with all the food and lots of goodies. You had drink boxes, you name it. Just one suitcase with a bunch of food. My mom said, "No, you're gonna go with a bunch of food." She didn't realize that you can't pack. Well, maybe she realized, but she didn't think a long journey of taking that much food is going to spoil over time, right? So,
right.
I know that she meant well. She packed me all these sandwiches and all these buns with, different types of sandwiches and ice packs in there. It's going to keep it nice and cold. Yeah. Well, it was great. I left in the morning. Later in the evening, it was still really, really cold, these sandwiches. I started handing them out. People were like, "Oh, that smells good." Or, "Hey, well, what do you got there?" So, I got a roast beef sandwich. What's it got on it? Blah blah blah. Oh, this one's a tuna one. This one's peanut butter and jam. This one's an egg salad sandwich. She made me a whole variety of sandwiches. There was no way that I'm going to eat all this stuff, and it was going to go bad. If it's not so. I handed out, "Here, have a sandwich." People started saying, "Yeah, here." Well, can I give you something for it? I don't want any money.
You
Oh,
felt
no,
like
no.
you were a Subway or something.
Yeah, yeah. I said, I started joking around with people. I said, well, next order, please. And you got a bunch of drink boxes. I mean, like I had like 30 drink boxes in my suitcase. Actually, no, hang on. So, no, 40, 40. Yeah, there was
Oh
40 of
wow.
them. She wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go out and buy more things along the way to be, and just make it more accessible for me in that one aspect of more accessible of having
How
everything.
many days were you gone, Brent?
It was a 2 day, 2 night journey.
Okay, so
Uh,
I just wanted to figure out the juice box math. So if you do the juice box math,
that's why I'm saying.
she's assuming that you're gonna drink 20, 20 juice boxes.
I'm saying 20, 20 a day.
20 a day. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, I know, and I had 14. I know, 16 sandwiches. She made me 16 sandwiches. I mean, 16
But
sandwiches.
that's love for you, Brent. There, right
I
there, though.
know, I
Right?
know. Yeah, it was great though. I mean, but she gave me wagon wheels. Like I had a bunch of wagon wheels in there. I had granola bars, Nature Valley granola bars in there, juice boxes. I had other, um, trail mix ones. I had a bag of trail mix in there, which was good. I
Mhm.
love trail mix, especially when you're traveling somewhere. Something to munch on. Some chips, those little mini bags of chips. I had some of those, not too many. I mean, there's a whole variety of stuff that I had in there. I had some yogurt in there too.
Mhm.
It was on ice, so that was okay. I rolled that back because I mean, it's don't want that's not going to keep too long. I didn't want to mess around with that. But yeah, I felt really very happy. Like I was handing sandwiches out because some people were saying, "Well, geez, where's our next stop? Where we're gonna go and eat this and that?" Like they were, kind of talking about this. That I overheard them. I mean,
Mhm.
we're sitting on the bus, so I could hear different things. And I thought, well, you know what, Brent? There's no way I'm going to eat all this. I thought to myself, I mean, why not just, somebody asks about these sandwiches, give them out.
Mhm.
And I didn't feel bad. I thought for a second, I thought, well, my mom's gonna be pissed, but she would be happy. She'd be happy that I had them out. And yeah, so these people I gave the sandwiches to, and I just started offloading them. God, they're like, can I get a bag of chips? Is that? Yeah, I had like chips there or granola bar, whatever they wanted. How much? I go, nothing. No, don't worry about it. That's fine. Like, because I felt that was the right thing to do. Just,
Mhm.
here. And I had some soda pop too, or pop. We call it in Canada, we call it pop. In US, they call it soda.
Yeah.
It was kind of neat. So anyway, I gave a beverage out to them too, and I didn't have too many. I had 10 of them. I had 10. So I had to be careful how I was loading that suitcase on. And bus driver says, "Did you want that underneath, sir, young man, or carrying that on?" Oh, this one here is very important. I need to take it on with me. Had all the
Mhm.
food. Imagine that, throwing it underneath the belly of the bus.
Right. Yeah.
It went so good. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the journey was I got to Calgary. All this food got offloaded way before I got to Calgary. It was in the evening. We got up to Golden, British Columbia. A lovely area. I love that area. It's just the air quality is so pure. It's so
Mhm.
good, but crisp, cold though. Oh, because you're up in the Kootenays, you're up in the mountains there.
Mhm.
And the bus driver always remembered the journey of it is it was so early in the morning, and he says, "Well, wakey, wakey, everybody! If everyone's awake, I'm stopping here for an hour and a half, a little bit ahead of time. This is the my stop to go and get fueled up with some caffeine. I need to stay awake because I'm driving the bus." So I get off. "Oh, young man, morning." I go, "Morning." I go, "Coffee." "Yeah, just follow me. I'm going over to the trough over here." "What?" "Yeah, I'm going to go over the trough over here." I said, "Yeah, maybe I'll have some hot chocolate or decaffeinated coffee." "You gonna have that?" "I gotta drive a bus." He said, "You want me to have decaffeinated coffee? I gotta stay on the road, sir. I mean, otherwise we're gonna have a problem." I go, "Oh, okay, yeah, we don't want that." "Where are you off to anyway?" Winnipeg." "Winnipeg? Wow, you're on a long journey." "Well, I'm not taking you to Winnipeg." He says, the company won't pay me that much time. That'll be, well, over quadruple time."
Mhm.
You're gonna have a bus. He says a changeover, a bus driver in Calgary. You go about 3.5 hours. Oh, cool. I'm gonna explore the city. Yep. He said, yeah, you won't get lost. Don't worry. Just follow the arrows and ask questions. So I put my stuff in a locker in Calgary. They had lockers there, and I put all my stuff in there that I was going to be carrying on. All my other luggage was going to be transferred onto another bus, so I didn't have to worry about it because it was the transfer point, and they were taking care of my luggage. So I didn't want to be luggage. Don't want to be lugging all my luggage around in the city. So I put it into a locker. It was okay. It was safe. Off I went to Calgary, looked around a little bit, came back, had some breakfast. Went, had breakfast in downtown Calgary, and then I came back, and off I went. They had a diner in there, but it wasn't that good. I still remember that when I was a kid. It didn't really appeal to me. I wanted to venture out. I mean, hey, I'm young. I want to get out, right? So I got back on the bus and all aboard, and off I went across the prairies out to Winnipeg. A very memorable experience. I mean, it was really windy going through Saskatchewan before we got there, though. We got up, and it was super windstorm, and it was this howling wind. I was like, wow. And of course, I was cold on the bus. The bus driver goes, okay, so when we get off here, the temperature, he says what the temperature actually is outside. Well, get off a big blast of warm, hot wind blowing right at you. And a whole bunch of us went to a little diner. And the experience of going interprovincial across on the Greyhound was so neat. So when we did that, there was a couple people that I talked to along the way, and so they were kind of getting off on certain spots, and we'd go and have a coffee and go and have lunch and stuff along the way. That was kind of neat, though. Actually, it was quite the experience. It's when I talk about interprovincial transportation, it's so important that we need to keep the network of transportation going, because now we got different modes. We have a Rider Express that goes from Vancouver, and they have connections that goes all the way to Calgary. And then you can connect on from Calgary to Edmonton, and then Edmonton out to Saskatoon. And then there's connections from there. It goes out to Winnipeg, Manitoba, I think, but with another regional service. I don't know if Rider Express provides that directly. They have a sub-carriers that will provide that. So they go out to Winnipeg and then out toward Ontario. So they have different service providers that are interconnecting their agreements with each other. Not like traditional Greyhound would go, kind of connect all the way across. There's another one, there's eBus. And now eBus services Vancouver with connections to the Okanagan up to the Thompson Valley.
That's what you call an e-transfer.
E-transfer, eBus, yes. Yeah. And they have like interprovincial, but they only go as far as BC and Alberta, with access up to the Thompson Okanagan, up to Kamloops. So it'll go from Vancouver, Surrey, Abbotsford, Chilliwack, Merritt, and then up to Kamloops. And then they have a connection that goes to Kelowna. You could take a route that goes to Kelowna, BC. You can go actually probably from Merritt. You can get off of Merritt and go to Kelowna if you wanted to, and just transfer, or you just take it from Vancouver. They have a bus that goes from Kamloops that goes out to Edmonton, and it's the overnight route. So you take it on, and no, that's not an overnight. I was thinking of another route. You go in the morning. You get there in the evening, out to Edmonton. I haven't taken that one. That'll be interesting. It's contracted through the eBus. It's another carrier, but they have an agreement with the company to provide that service. But they have eBuses in from Edmonton all the way to Calgary for there. So definitely check it out if it's something that you want to explore in your life. Check out eBus. Just do a Google on eBus. Just look at their schedule and their pricing and see if it works good for you. Rider Express is another one, interprovincial. They don't provide all the way across. However, with Greyhound, when they had left back in 2018, there is a plan that Greyhound Greyhound Canada had got bought out. Actually, Greyhound USA got bought out, yes, by Flixbus. And so they're the main company. They still have the run with the banner of Greyhound below them, as everybody knows Greyhound, right? Now there is talk now of getting a plan in motion in BC. They're just waiting on the provincial transportation board or to basically approve it. The mayor of Merritt and the city council, and they unanimously voted in favor and approving a letter to the transportation board to basically get this going. So we're just waiting on the transportation board in British Columbia to basically sign off and saying, yes, this is good. We need to get interprovincial service going again. How it's going to work is if it goes through, which it will, it's just a matter of time, right? It's like government red tape bureaucracy, right? We know that nothing ever happens very quickly. But it's quite exciting when it does, because I had pulled up a kind of an itinerary for everybody. Then I was looking it up here. Here it is here. So how it's going to work is that it'll basically go through from Vancouver. It'll stop over in with different connections all the way to Kamloops, all the way to Calgary. And it's going to start in Vancouver. And then it's going to make its way with connecting cities throughout the Lower Mainland. It's going to go to Hope, like Abbotsford, like Surrey, Abbotsford, Hope, and extending out to Calgary, and with still have the connections to Seattle. So that's going to be neat. But it's going to be run by Flixbus. Flixbus, so it's going to have connections with your transfers from. Well, I guess always from Calgary, you can go to Edmonton, you can go to Saskatchewan, which connections out to Manitoba, and then out to Ontario. After Ontario, unfortunately, there is no plans right now because they have the Acadian bus service, which runs basically for Eastern Canada. They have their own service that runs out in the Maritimes and surrounding areas up to Quebec. Maybe in time there will be opportunity for them to expand. They did have service from Quebec out toward Ontario, but it was discontinued. The Acadian bus lines did have connections there. It was discontinued many years ago, which is kind of unfortunate. Again, I think the opportunity is like Flixbuses, they were going to be using probably partners in partnership with other provincial carriers, inter-regional carriers to provide that service with them. So I think connecting the dots all the way across our country and making it more accessible would be perfect. I would love to see Greyhound do the whole thing, but in reality, right now, that's not going to happen. But as a good start, at least their parent company, they're excited. They want to get this going. They want to connect the communities back together, because when Greyhound left, it left a lot of gaps in a lot of communities where people were left high and dry. I was one of them. Sonia and myself, we had taken the Greyhound. We used to love taking the Greyhound up to the Okanagan once in a while. I used to love getting the buy the 3 weeks in advance ticket on Greyhound, and you would get a deep discounted price. Right. But policy on theirs was if you buy a 3 week in advance purchase, it was non-refundable. Right. Non-refundable. So you're going to be going, that's it. You're not going to get your money back. And so I took that one on a voyage across. Actually, I went through the U.S. at one time with my mom. I took her all the way across. Right. Oh boy, that was a journey itself. But we came up the East Coast though. Yeah. Many years ago, but same thing. Good experience. Cross country, Canada, U.S., whatever. It was a great experience on the Greyhound. Memorable experience. When it comes back out again through Flixbus, maybe who knows? I don't know. I can't really say what the future will be. But if I have the opportunity of doing some of that journey, if it's maybe part of Flixbus, maybe part via rail, I don't know, or if it's interconnected along the way, maybe I would do a travel segment and show you part of the journey that we would do. If the opportunity comes down the line, I would kind of explore that and see if it's something that I'm able to do or we're able to do at that time. I'm not sure, but with any case, I just want to provide everybody with an update of that. and there is interregional service, but it's kind of patchwork right now. If you look at your itinerary, again, let's look at eBus, look at Rider Express, other regional carriers that provide service in your area. They want to basically shrink that gap in between where there's gaps in service. They want to kind of crunch it down so that more areas are getting serviced by bus. Um, I mean, imagine if transit ran in between each area. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, yeah. Imagine going from the lower mainland and all the way up to the Okanagan by transit. I mean, in theory though, Neil, it could be done. Like, you go away to like a BC Bus Pass, right? Just for instance, BC Bus Pass, shouldn't it be providing service throughout BC, connecting communities?
That would be the proper thing to do. Yeah.
I mean, imagine going all the way to Chilliwack and then connecting on a bus from Chilliwack and going and taking that bus up to say Merritt,
Hmm.
which is what, maybe, yeah, I mean, it might be a couple hours, maybe a couple hour bus ride.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then just a transfer point without you without transfer, you get off the bus, transfer on the bus from Merritt up to Kamloops, and then
Hmm.
connecting each community to community. It could be done
Yeah.
because I know like some of the longer routes, like when we're talking about interprovincial or connecting communities, when I talk about transit, a lot of people will follow along when Brent talks about transit. But it's all about building communities together, right? Connecting communities together, everybody, and it can be done. It
Well,
just
again, I'm going to show my age, and like we're
yeah,
pretty close in age, Brent. But
yeah,
and maybe it's a case of wearing rose-colored glasses sometimes, but I don't know. Like, I remember when Vancouver or the Lower Mainland it was run by BC Transit. It was
yep.
completely run by government, completely.
It was.
There was no like quasi public private thing with Coast Mountain Bus. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it was 100% run by the government. And I don't know, it seemed like everything was run so much better.
It was.
The service was better, more coverage,
Mm-hmm.
um, just overall like way better service.
It,
And now it's just like, depending on where you live, the service can be really crappy in some areas.
yeah, because like when like I lived in a rural area, basically outside of the city in Langley. I lived way out in the suburbs, and limited bus service when it first came out, and then of course it started enhancing a lot better. Now it's really good. I mean, go figure. It always happens when you move away. Things
Yeah.
always get
Now
right,
that
and
you're
then,
gone.
yeah, and now
Yeah.
you're gone. Now, hey, we got really good service. It's like, hey, when they came out this different bus numbers, like I was kind of following it along too. What is that number? I'm thinking, no, no, that one runs from downtown Langley now. What? It goes all the way out to where I lived? Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I mean, they had two different bus numbers where I lived. They had two different bus numbers that go out in the
Hmm.
further out and from the city and going eastbound. And I said, well, okay. And it branched off. And to me, it always made sense. And I remember going to town hall meetings and they would ask, public input. And I said, if it's not broken, still remember, I said, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Hmm.
What did they do? They broke it. They broke it. They took away one bus number.
Well, you know why they do that is that they can say, well, there's more to do.
They did. They
There's more
did.
to do now that we broke it. There's more to do.
They did though. That was the reasoning behind. They said it wasn't servicing part of the community efficiently. Ridership was down. I said, oh, well, ridership was down. Well, maybe it was just the time of the day.
Did they
Well,
have Michelle Stilwell on the file?
no.
Did she make the decision on to kill everything?
If she was on the file, she would have said, well, there was only 6 people in the area.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Anyway, so they got rid of one of the routes, which was really unfortunate because it was good because it serviced another part of the community where another one where I mean I understand the concept of transit. I probably thought, okay, well, where another route was still kind of servicing kind of the same area, but you'd have to walk maybe another 10, 15 more minutes. further over. Well, accessibility wise, that didn't make any sense. And I brought that up in the town hall meeting. I go, accessibility wise, you guys may think you're doing the right thing, but it's now an inconvenience for people. Where if mobility wise, and I was really tough on them even back then about mobility wise. I said, well, what if somebody can't go from point A to point B? It's too far. Maybe they could ask for a ride. Ask for a ride? Well, there is no option to ask for a ride. Well, we can always review it in the future, but right now we need to amalgamize. We have plans. So anyway, long-term thing is, I looked at the transportation, and I always remember the bus coming up and BC Transit logo on the side of the bus.
Yeah.
Always BC Transit, BC Transit. And over time, I looked at it as the amalgamization of Coast Mountain Bus Company coming in, and then they came up with TransLink, and then they had to come up with a name. Well, what name are we going to call the bus company now? They had to do a consultation and ask people, what name do you want? So they came up with Coast Mountain Bus Company name. So it's splashy announcement. Well, if they would have just kept it under BC Transit, I still think even to this day, it should all be under BC Transit. Yeah. We got BC Transit on the island here. They got BC Transit outside in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, and everywhere else except for the Lower Mainland itself is all TransLink. It's a Coast Mountain Bus Company.
I know what I wanted to do to finish off the podcast, Brent.
Yeah.
I wanted to go over the juice box math again.
Oh yes.
So you had 40 juice boxes.
Yeah.
Divided by 2 days. That's 20 juice boxes that you would drink in one day. I know your mom is laughing in heaven. That's why
she'd be laughing. Oh, Brent, she says, all those juice boxes. I remember packing all those juice boxes for you there. I didn't give them all away. No, I didn't give them all away. I gave the sandwiches away. Oh, sorry, Mom. Don't worry, I saved the granola bars for a snack for later on my trip. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And there's more to do. And sip and chuck. And yeah, take care.